Welcome back to Barbie Unfiltered. And today I'm going to go local. But whether you're from Illinois or you found your way here from somewhere else, please like, share, and subscribe and help us grow this channel. I am fairly new to this, and I finally got my background better looking. So I hope it's more pleasant to see. I encourage everyone to get involved in your local school district, ask questions, and attend meetings. Read their policies, know who is making decisions that affect your children's education. What is happening here is not just happening in Illinois. Parents across America are beginning to ask questions, and I believe many parents should be paying attention. My attention to Illinois schools started after the death of Charlie Kirk. We all saw many disgusting things posted online from all sides and from all different professions. But when I saw similar behavior in my own hometown, in the same school district where my children graduated, it completely took me by surprise. Honestly, it was Charlie Kirk's death that woke this side of me up. And although my podcast started with my own personal journey to America from a communist country, my own opinions, my life experiences, and even struggles in my personal life, I have always tried to build a foundation for honest conversations. And I told my story of coming to America from Cuba because I came from a communist country. And I want to put that out there because, again, when you're not from a communist country, you have no right to talk about socialists or communism. But when I saw the hostility that came, or the name calling and the celebrating that was taking place with my local school district and community, it made me sick to my stomach. How in the world can people celebrate the death of another human being, regardless of what they thought about Charlie Kirk? So I got involved. One of the comments that caught my attention came from District 300 School Board President Nancy Seller following Charlie Kirk's death. She posted online that her first thought was karma is a bitch. Like many parents, I was shocked by the comments and by the fact that it came from someone holding a leadership position in our school district. I attended the board meeting to discuss what I believe was inappropriate behavior. Much to my surprise, because I was dumbfounded, there were people there to support her. Some of the statements made about Charlie Kirk that evening were horrific. I even saw a mother I personally knew from the days when our children attended school together back in Algonquin. They had even attended church a few times. So I knew she was a woman of faith. But I couldn't believe this. I remember sitting there asking myself, what the hell happened to these people? What surprised me even more was that Nancy Sutler refused to apologize, and she doubled down. Her body language, kid you not, showed nothing but hostility. I could feel it from across the room. I have never met the lady before, but that day in that moment, she looked consumed by anger. It wasn't just her. Many people seemed to have the same reaction, just hearing Charlie Kirk's name. The board listened to everyone's comments and concerns, and eventually they removed her from board president at the time. And many parents believed their voices had finally been heard. But months later, Nancy Seller received an award, leaving many people wondering whether the action taken against her was genuine, accountability, or simply an attempt to quiet the public outrage. Because it did get into the headlines, and it did make local papers. That experience changed me. I pushed, or I should say, it pushed me to start paying closer attention to what was happening in our schools and why so many parents throughout Illinois were raising concerns. The deeper I looked and the more I dig, the more questions I had. Today we're going to talk about District 300, District 365U, District 109, and other districts that have found themselves in the center of debate involving parents' right, transparency, Title IX, and the role the schools should play in the lives of our children. So let's get into it. Before I start, please know that I have no ill will towards children experiencing these issues or questioning their identity. Children are supposed to have fun, feel safe, and be allowed to grow and learn about themselves naturally. But many of these children, in my opinion, and again, these are my opinion, my perspective, have been used by the system that immediately pushes labels and identity changes instead of slowing down and truly understanding what may be happening underneath. When parents hear things like, you must let your child be who they are, many feel pressure into decisions before fully exploring the situation. This is where common sense and parental involvement should matter most. Girls can be tomboys. Boys can play with girls' toys or have different interests without automatically meaning they are confused about their gender. But during the Biden administration, many parents believe this issue exploded from the normal childhood experiment into something much more ideological and frankly concerning. I understand many parents believe they are doing the right thing. Some may feel pressure from school therapists, social media, or even parents going through similar situations. I have a say, misery needs company. But like many things in life, people should follow the money. Mental health professionals, clinics, and hospitals involved in these treatments and surgeries have made enormous amount of money. In my opinion, taxpayers' money should not be funding gender surgeries for minors or abortions. Because last time I checked, taxpayers are not paying for childhood cancer. I know a little bit about that. And when parents are going through childhood cancer, they have to either find donations or find the groups that are strictly for childhood cancer. And they're not taking money from any taxpayer. Now, we are seeing hospitals and clinics beginning to reverse and reevaluate some of these practices, not necessarily because they saw the light. No. But because many of these children are growing up and some are speaking publicly about regret, detransitioning, and emotional harm, those same hospitals and professionals may eventually face lawsuits from people who believe they were harmed. And trust me, they're coming. Once insurance companies for these providers start getting hit with lawsuits, they will change their tunes and common sense will prevail, as it usually does. Now, hear me out. If you're over the age of 18 and you have gone through counseling, completed all your proper steps, and still choose that path for your life and body, I support you. I support your right to make that decision, and I support your lifestyle. But if schools have to call parents before giving a child an aspirin, then school absolutely must call parents when a child is struggling with identity issues. For families can get involved and help guide their own child properly. And for the love of God, do not ask children to lie to their parents, which is what you've done and what you do. Why the secrets? Connect the dots. Many parents believe some activists and agenda-driven groups have pushed this issue far beyond common sense. The idea that every child questions themselves must immediately be affirmed or labeled is something many families strongly disagree with. Now, with all that said, here's why federal lawsuits are now exploding across Illinois. And hear me out. When I went to that board meeting for Nancy Seller, these people were possessed. I remember calling my son and telling him, every time you mention the name of Charlie Kirk or God in the same sentence, it was like I was seeing The Exorcist. Called my son. Obviously, he doesn't know. He's never seen that movie. But I guess he's seen clips. And he says, Mom, he started laughing. I go, no, honey, this was like they were possessed by demons. And again, these are my opinions, but that's what I experienced. That's what I saw, and that's what I took from it. A growing number of Illinois parents are now taking school districts to federal court over policies involving gender identity, parent notification, student privacy, bathroom, locker room, sports participation, and what family describes as a secret social transitioning happening inside schools without parent knowledge or consent. What began quietly years ago has exploded into a statewide legal battle. This episode will have a part 2. Multiple federal lawsuits and civil rights complaints are now underway involving Illinois school districts, while the U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Department of Education have opened investigations into dozens of districts across our state. At the center of several of these cases is Naperville, attorney and Republican candidate for Illinois House 41, A.J. Gupta, and I might be pronouncing the name wrong, who says families across Illinois are contacting him after discovering school staff allegedly use alternative name, pronoun, gender support plans, and identity-based accommodations involving their children without, keyword here, without informing the parents. And again, the part many people refuse to acknowledge, they think they are doing the child a favor. Not sure who died and made them God. According to the federal complaint, socially transitioned students at schools, while excluding families, denied parent access to critical information, allow biological males into girls' bathroom and locker rooms, ignore parental objections, relied on guidance issued by the State Board of Education and the Illinois Department of Human Rights. The lawsuit now expands multiple Illinois districts, including but not limited Valley View District 365U, District 109, District 300, Barrington area schools, where additional complaints and are reportedly emerging. Those are the ones that I know the most of. Now, I'm going to put all the links because these are facts, and I'm going to state all the links in the description of this video. So again, all the links will be there. There's 2 groups that I follow like clockwork. It's Wake Up Illinois and Flip Chicago Red. This is well known. And I've heard it from them, and I even got the papers and the lawsuit websites from Awake Illinois. That's the name of the group, Awake Illinois. So if you haven't done so, Search them on the Facebook, Instagram, and follow their page because they are putting up all this stuff daily. The Valley View federal case, the landmark federal Title IX privacy case against Valley View District 365U, escalated to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals after plaintiffs sought emergency injunction relief. All the case numbers and everything on each of these that I am talking about, I will put it in the description. The lawsuit alleges female students were denied privacy protection under Title IX due to district policies involving locker rooms and bathrooms. Federal docket at District 300, and again, the case number and all that I will put. According to the complaint, a parent alleged district staff socially transitioned a child at school without parental consent and continued despite objections. I am looking forward to seeing this one play out, and I will have a part 2 to this. The lawsuit alleges constitutional parent right violation, exclusion of parents from major decisions, emotional and psychological harm, use of gender support plan without parent approval. Again, keyword here, parent approval. They should have learned their lesson when the Charlie Kirk story broke out. But just like that, they doubled down because parents tried to talk to the district and tried to get some resolution. But they won't budge. They are dead set in their policies. District 109 is also tied to ongoing federal Title IX complaint and investigation involving, again, locker room privacy, transgender policies, parental notifications and concerns. Federal investigations have opened a probe involving Deerfield Public School 109, Chicago Public Schools, Illinois State Board of Education. What do these all cases have in common? Secrecy, ignorance, and not obeying Title IX, which was already fought and won in our Supreme Courts. They have very little respect for the law, but again, we should not be shocked. Parents say they're being targeted. I believe that. I put a Substack twice because the first case that caught my attention was an AirTag. Aside from the Charlie Kirk was one, second was the AirTag. A kid got home and the parents found an AirTag in their backpack. And oh my God, you would be worried. Well, it took a couple days, but they realized that another child had put let's rephrase that. Another parent put an AirTag in their child's backpack. Their child found the AirTag and took it out of the backpack and put it on this kid's backpack. So the parents were alarmed. Who's tracking my kid? After several days, they found out that another child took it from their backpack and put it in the other one's backpack. Yes, I don't buy it. But then again, nothing else has surfaced. So I can't really write anything about it. The parents don't buy it, and I don't buy it either. But again, nothing's happened, so let's hope that's that, and let's put it away. Then I put a Substack, because I wrote all this, and I've been following this district for over a year, well, since the Charlie Kirk thing. I did another Substack, and I decided to share it on District 300 parents page. And they came at me from everywhere. These people even tried to go into look for me in my Facebook page and Instagram page, which are private. And I'm not hiding it. I told them, you're not going to find anything. But the fact that they will go looking for me is pretty annoying. I don't know if you heard, but Memorial Weekend, and I mentioned this man again, Kerry, a veteran, in his house. was known for the Trump house in the neighborhood. He loved his president and he loved his country. He was brutally beaten for those things. So don't tell me that these people are not dangerous, because they are. They were looking for my profile, and then they started saying that I don't live in Illinois, that I'm not in the district. I've been in those groups for over maybe 10 years because my kids graduated from District 300 and I am still paying taxes in District 300. So this is why this matters to me. You're not using my tax money for these ideology. I will fight you every step of the way. And all these parents, I command you. And I'm here if you need me. Whatever it is you need, just come and ask me or email me. So when parents say they're being targeted, they are. Several families involved in these cases say they fear retaliation, intimidation, and public exposure and challenging district policies. Parents involved in the lawsuits allege that schools and activists attempted to publicly identify children connected to the cases, raising additional concerns about privacy and safety. I thought they cared about the kids. No, they care more about the agenda. The issue itself is not new. Many parents argue these policies began quietly as early as 2022. I've heard from some teachers who say this goes back as far back as 2019, long before most Illinois families realized what was happening inside their local school districts. Because again, most families picked up on it during the 2020 COVID, the pandemic. Now, the fight was moved into federal court. DOJ investigations in Illinois schools separated from the lawsuits reportedly indicate federal investigations are reviewing policies as many as 36 schools. Gender identity guidance, parental opt-out rights. Keywords: parental opt-out rights. Title IX compliance, curriculum disclosure. This does not mean that all 36 lawsuits have been filed, but it does mean the issue is drawing federal scrutiny. And again, nobody's saying that your kid cannot have his, if you agree with, his reading with a drag queen or whatever curriculum you want your child to have. But just give other parents the option to opt out. That's all we're asking. That's all they're asking. And disclosure, whatever the curriculum is, so they can pick and choose what they want their child to be a part of. It's sad, but if you want to continue this agenda, well, then you need to give the parents the choice. Families seeking legal help, Ajay, A-J-A-Y, Gupta says he's offering pro bono representation to families who believe their rights were violated under these school policies. For example, seeking information about joining complaints or legal action. I'll put his email in the description. As more filings emerge, this legal battle is rapidly becoming one of the largest parental rights fights unfolding in Illinois federal courts. Let's hope the judges do what's right. Please know that I will put all these details, links, and contact information in the description. If you or someone you know wants to join the class action lawsuit or speak to the attorney involved, because just like the doctors, healthcare providers, activists, and organizations have made billions pushing this agenda, the only thing that usually gets their attention is lawsuits that cost them money. And yes, I know many people say this is a waste of time and our taxpayers' money. But you're wasting mine too on this curriculum. Well, then maybe people need to start demanding answers from their politicians and leaderships allowing this to happen in the first place. At least here in Illinois, taxpayers are already overwhelmed. Taxes continue to rise while many feel their concerns are ignored. More and more residents are leaving the state every year, and many believe leadership cares more about political agenda than the people that actually are paying the bills. It's absolutely true. And this is why the midterm elections matter so much. So again, get out and vote. But with that said, let's switch gears for a minute because life cannot always be stress, politics, and fights, battles online. Take time for yourself, parents. And I'm speaking to those parents that are trying to get these matters resolved. Take time for yourself. You are brave. You can get through this. I got through childhood cancer and I thought I was going to die, and I made it through. So fight for your children. Join the lawsuits if you're in those districts. And if not, pay attention. Pay attention of what's going on in schools. Don't let these people win. The funny thing here is as more and more kids and more hospitals are reverting their policies and they're detransitioning children or adults now. Some of those parents who were fooled into this ideology are being hated by their own child. So let them grow. Let them experience their own identity, however they choose to. And don't label them. Don't label them. Let them grow. If after the age of 18, they still feel the same way, then yeah, then take whatever steps you need. Enjoy the warmth of the season. We finally have warm weather. I had a lot of time this weekend. As you could see, I put a lot of videos out. But I wanted to put this out because first of all, I've been at it for a whole year. And I've just been connecting the dots little by little. This is why I know there would be a part 2. Because these parents are being shamed. I heard stuff from that District 300 parents page as they were going after me that those parents should be ashamed of themselves. They don't want to accept their child. You know, I'd say it 100 times, misery needs company. What has happened? I don't even know what to call it. It's beyond, I don't know what. Where did we go so wrong? Because this has been in the works a while. Because like I said, I know some teachers that said it was happening way before COVID. I think COVID just woke up a lot of parents. So my thoughts and prayers are with all the parents that are going to fight for their children. And I'm here. I am here if you need me. If you have a story to tell, if you want to come out and talk to me, or if you simply want your voice heard, contact me. I will gladly give you the airtime and let you speak. Unlike many others, I will not expose names publicly or shame any families. People deserve the chance to tell their story respectfully and honestly. I will put all these links and contact information in my description. And right now it's one attorney, but there may be more pro bono. With that, I'm going to say, I hope you like my new background. Now I just got to figure out how to share these stories because I had them all up. And then as I was getting ready to do it, I was like, uh-oh, I need to learn this. So I hope the background was easier to like. Please subscribe to my channel. Again, this is new to me and I am learning as I go along. Some of the pages that you must follow is Awake Illinois and Chicago Flip Red. And get out and vote in this midterms. You can find me in all the socials as Barbie Unfiltered 67. All of them. I have the same name. So go ahead and look for me. And if you're a parent, you can send me a message, whatever you need. And I'm here to help in whatever I can. Thank you and have a nice day. Have a great week, guys.